My tenant found a loophole that she thought would actually get her out of paying rent. And for about 24 hours, I thought it might actually work. My property manager was on his way to go post a 7-day notice, and she called me, and she's like, you need to see this. When she got there, it was a bright yellow notice from the city of Huntsville stamped on the door. The city had officially claimed the property unsafe. At that moment, I thought I had serious problems. What I didn't know yet, the tenant had already moved out. So now I'm confused. The city is telling me that the property is unsafe because there's no electricity. But when you open the door, there's something that don't add up. There's no couches, no TVs, no food in the kitchen, no clothes in the closet, nothing that says somebody actually lives here. So if nobody lives here, why the fuck is the city involved? At this point, I stopped looking at the property and started looking at the paperwork, the documents, my computer records, utility records, phone calls. That's when I found something interesting. If the property was unsafe because there was no electricity, who actually turned the electricity off? That's when I pulled the utility records. Why would somebody report a property as unsafe after they already moved out? That's when the entire story started making sense. It just hit me. According to the city, the property was unsafe because there was no electricity. But according to the utility company, the tenant transferred her utilities on the 1st of May. And that's when I got really confused. And I started asking myself a different question. If she knew the power was off May 1st, why report the property weeks later? The more we looked around, the less sense it made. No couch, no beds, no food, no signs of anybody living there. They didn't look like a tenant was trapped in an unsafe property. This looked like somebody who had already moved out and just left their ramblings behind. And that's when the timeline started coming together. First, May 1st, utilities are transferred. Secondly, the tenant stopped paying rent and all forms of communication stops. Thirdly, we begin the eviction process. Fourth, my property manager goes to post a notice. Fifth, the city shows up and the property get marked unsafe. When I put all these things together, it looked a lot less like housing issues and more like strategy. I'll tell you exactly what was going on in her head. She felt like she won. She felt like she played the system and created a loophole that only she can execute. I've been in enough battles to know this is something that they're going to say is a civil matter, so I'll have to take it up with the courts. But first, I need to speak to the housing authority.
Mr. Kim Webster, hold on.
And that's another thing, like, well, how can I get something that's unsafe when the utilities aren't supposed to be in my name? The utilities in the tenant's name.
All right, well, let me let you talk to our code enforcement manager. It's gonna Mr. Kim Webster.
Kind of need to know where I'm at here. Let's see. All right, let's say building. Let me look at this notice. Okay, so what she's saying here is that, no, we're not trying to find you on it or anything, but what happens is you have somebody living in there with no utilities. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep them from burning your building down and maybe burning somebody else up, because you know yourself, if somebody's in there with no utilities, they're going to burn candles, and of course you're not one over, you got a fire on your hands, and you know you've done displaced other people without residents, without them even doing anything. So what we do, we condemn one, so if the police come in there, if they come back and somebody sees them in there, they can actually call the police department and have them arrested, because then at that point it's criminal trespassing. But no, I'll go ahead and put that unsafe while I'm sitting here. If that's what if you want me to,
Yeah.
if you're asking me to, and I'll put on there that I spoke with you and she's moved out, and
And I got utilities turned on in my name and all that, so I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. President.
no, it's no problem at all. No problem. Probably worked out for you like it did. Go right here. Let me get off this one page. I'm printing this house notice out. It's like building. Yeah, we don't file these in probate or anything, so it just closed. It's up right now.
All right. After all that, we finally end up in court. But wait, the very same day of that phone call, I had my team inside that unit turning it over. At this point, we got all the records. We got documentation that she's moved out. We got the utility records. There's only one place else to go. Court. Now, I've been to court plenty of times, but this one felt different. It felt different because like I had a paper trail. I had everything I needed to get my get back. Low key, the only thing I'm wondering is, would the judge see it my way? That's the only thing I'm wondering. Would the judge see it my way? I'm gonna tell the judge, this is what I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna say, Judge, this entire case came down to one thing. Is this property unsafe? Or was it already abandoned? I rest my case. TP came and gave me that smooth head nod, and we was out of that thing, on the way to the bank. Hey, the craziest part, this story was never about rent. It was never about the tenant versus the landlord. It was about paperwork, right? Because the tenant got a story, the city got a story, the landlord got a story, but paperwork dictates everything. So most importantly, most importantly, document everything, get your SOPs together, because them people will come for you and yours. You understand? If you don't know what the SOP is, you can DM me and I can give you what I got, but I don't really sell this shit. The game is to be told, not sold. And just for the record, I think I won maybe $2,700, $325 to file the case. She had about $1,500 in unpaid rent. The damage to the unit to get people in and out, it came up to about $2,700. So that's what I got awarded for, and that's what happened. You found a loophole, I closed the loophole.